Donald Trump is emerging as a dominant figure in this election campaign, somewhat surprisingly. The research in the published polls show that Australians are concerned about Trump. They view him as erratic and unreliable. Do you think this is working as a negative for Peter Dutton and the coalition? Because Albanese is comparing Dutton to Trump.
Oh, look, Albanese will do that. He's desperate. It's student politics every day of the week with this guy, and the same with his Treasurer. I mean, let's focus on the main issues here. This is a government that has absolutely failed to deal with the cost of living crisis we've got. Our standard of living has collapsed. It's been unprecedented, worse than any of our peer countries in the world. We're not going to get back to where we were when we were last in government under their plan until the 2030s. I mean, this is a hopeless situation for Australia to be in. And the worst part of this is we are seeing an uncertain world. And the Reserve Bank Governor, in her statement earlier in the week, used the word uncertainty 5 times. We are in a more uncertain world than we have been for a long time, and yet the government has left us in a position where we don't have the buffers. Our government budget is red ink as far as the eye can see, and household budgets have been decimated. So our capacity to absorb shocks that might come through is not anything like it was, and that's a bad situation to be in.
Just on the RBA, you mentioned the Governor. Of course, the RBA didn't even have a discussion about cutting rates in this board meeting. Do you think that shows that the rate cut at the last board meeting was premature and even potentially politically motivated?
Oh, look, I'm not going to comment on Reserve Bank decisions. I mean, I think that ultimately should be left to be independent. What I do know is I think the government has made it harder for them to cut interest rates. Core inflation in Australia has remained higher than other peer countries across the world, and that, at the end of the day, makes it harder for the Reserve Bank to bring down interest rates. We've also seen the government projecting red ink as far as the eye can see. That makes it harder to bring down interest rates. So it's not surprising that we've been slow to see the reductions in interest rates. And of course, we've seen between 3 and 7 cuts in Canada, in Europe, in New Zealand, in the UK. And of course, that's not been the case here.
No. All right, Angus Taylor, really appreciate your time in the middle of a busy campaign.
Good to be with you, Sharri.